The reason I do this is it means I don't have to individually make 12 drinks to order, and it allows me time to do other things while the guests are here. And I also like something overnight and getting the flavors really marrying together. It's refreshing. This is a take on a pink lemonade peach cocktail. So it's gin based. I have a little bit of Nolet's gin. I have pink lemonade, a little bit of fresh lime juice, and fresh peaches. I've also thrown in some lemon wedges and some strawberries and blackberries that I happen to have around. It's a nice change of pace from a sangria. So most of the time when you go to a barbecue or a picnic, somebody's made sangria. And sangria is lovely, don't get me wrong. I enjoy sangria. But sometimes you want something a little bit different. The nice thing about this is I haven't put very much gin in. Now, some of you are saying, Stacia, how is that the nice thing? Well, if you start off with this with your guests, especially if it's a hot day, you're not going to get them all plowed really quickly and make people feel sick in the heat. So whatever you're doing on, especially a hot weather occasion, keep your alcohol content low and the water, juice, everything else content high, and your guests will enjoy themselves for longer. So I am going to serve up a little bit of this to my guests. We have some of you might have remembered from last time, we have the lovely Mickey here. Mickey, here you go.
Thank you.
And we have a new soiree guest today. Eric is joining us. Eric and I were talking before that he actually enjoys gin. So I get this a lot from people and they tell me, I'm not a gin person. And I tell them, yes you are, you just haven't had the right gin. So you could substitute vodka for this. You could even do
that's
a
good,
wine.
right?
It's very good.
Wine. I'm passing this to Kira as well.
Kira's behind the camera, but
so that's what we're starting with. And like I said, it's just I bought pink lemonade already made. Little fresh lime juice, a little fresh fruit, a little gin. You could put some club soda in there if you wanted it to be sparkly, and that would be really nice too, but that's a good start. Now I'm going to tell you another one of my new cheats this summer for picnics and barbecues and such. So I went to a wine tasting last weekend and it was a rosé festival. They had rosé in a can. I'm not kidding. And I was very dubious because I'm like, I don't even like soda in a can. It really wasn't bad. So we got these at the wine festival. This was the vendor that was there. There was one other vendor, but I don't have a can. I actually found these in Trader Joe's the other day. So they have a regular brut sparkling wine and a rosé. I want to say these are like $4 or $5 a can. So they're not super affordable in terms of, like if I bought a bottle of my favorite Prosecco that's $7 for the whole bottle at Trader Joe's. But if you're going to a pool party or somewhere where you can't have glass, this is perfect. You can also make cocktails with it. You could add other elements into it. But if you're picnicking or camping and everyone's throwing stuff into a cooler, this is a great way to do it if you're not a beer person like me. I also, this is my favorite. They sell little minis of the flutes of different kind of bubbly, and I usually keep some of these around. Again, if everybody else is opening a beer, I usually have some of these in the cooler. So I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the food. I always do a cheese tray, and yes, please, let's ignore the fact that I didn't open this one because I ran out of time. This happens,
but
you know?
well, your hungry guests will open it.
All right. So I put together a couple of really easy food options that can sit out, that don't require you to stand over the stove, and you can refill easily. The first one, this is just chilled gazpacho. It's a chilled vegetable soup. It's cucumbers and red peppers and onions and tomatoes, a little Worcestershire, a little lemon, a little pepper. You blend it all up either in a blender or with an immersion blender, and it's a chilled soup shooter. They're delicious. Those can sit out really well. They're refreshing. This is homemade ricotta. Now, I used to think I hated ricotta cheese because I would buy the kind in the grocery store that was kind of unpleasant, let's just say. And then I found an Ina Garten recipe online where you make your own, and it's just cream, heavy cream, milk, and a little bit of salt and a little bit of white vinegar. And you strain it through cheesecloth, and it's delicious. So one of my favorite ways to serve it is if you put chopped fresh herbs, I've got oregano and thyme here, and you drizzle honey. This is my favorite truffle honey. So you can just take a a little piece of bread or a cracker, and you smear a little bit of the ricotta on it, drizzle it with the honey. It's delicious.
Okay, now I do want to ask you about
Yes.
the truffle honey, because I had never had truffle honey before I came to a Soirée Sips, and it was amazing. And it is not like regular honey.
No.
It's not. If you think honey is honey, you've never had truffle honey. So when she says I use truffle honey, she means like truffle honey.
Okay, and I actually found this is a different brand I'm trying today, so we're trying a new brand today. I discovered truffle honey for the first time at one of my little Italian markets, Guidi Marcello's in Santa Monica. They have amazing imported Italian food and things to cook with. Amazing. Get there if you can. They had this little tiny jar of truffle honey, and I'm like, oh, I like truffles, but I don't like truffle oil because it's that ersatz stuff. It's just perfumed. It's not actually, doesn't actually contain truffles. The truffle honeys that I buy, I always make sure there's little bits of truffle in it. You don't want something that's just perfumed truffle odor. It's really interesting. I like it also drizzled on a good hard cheese. This is a pepper Toscano. You could use a Parmesan or something like that. You drizzle a little bit of the honey over the cheese, and you get that the richness of the truffles against the sweetness of the honey against the saltiness of the cheese, and it's glorious.
You know, Stacia, early on in my career, Truffle Honey was my stripper name. Brings back memories.
Good times. That's an excellent stripper name, actually.
Yeah. She's not like other honeys.
She's got little bits of herself in the jar. And then I have a little take on the melon, the prosciutto wrapped melon. I've taken the fresh peaches because I'm mirroring what I did in the first cocktail, and I've wrapped them in prosciutto. You can also grill them, either with or without the prosciutto on your barbecue if you have your barbecue heated up. And you could, if you wanted, slide a little bit of fresh basil or fresh mint in between the prosciutto and the fruit. You can use the melons if you like, but I think the melon is the one that everyone expects. So I enjoy making something a little unusual. This is another one of my favorite summer cheats. These are my little watermelon caprizis. Now this is a yellow watermelon. You could obviously use the red one. It's just watermelon that I've sliced and cut with like a little cookie cutter, and fresh chiffonaded basil, and then balsamic glaze. You can either make your own balsamic glaze by reducing down balsamic vinegar, or Trader Joe's sells the glaze already done, so I was lazy. This is so refreshing and so delicious. It's another one of my super favorites. So you guys are welcome to dig in and try. And then I think the last little guy I have in the corner by Mickey. These are a new recipe I found on, I think it was from epicurious.com, which is one of my favorite food recipe sites. These are figs that have been pan roasted with maple syrup and a little red wine vinegar and bacon. So it's bacon and then drizzled with the maple syrup and vinegar, and they're fresh brown figs, which are in season right now. So if you go to Trader Joe's or the farmer's market, this is the perfect time of year to find the figs. So, and we'll get to the cake later, but yes, there's cake.
Ugh.
It's my famous peanut butter and jelly cake. So when we cut it open, it'll have layers of yellow cake and strawberry jelly and peanut butter cream. But we'll cut into that later. So, all right, well, I am going to move over and make another batched cocktail that'll get you through a party.
Do you need to get set up?
I'm pretty set up, but we'll just need to move the
We
lights.
can let our guests
watch the glass.
dig in if you like.
yeah.
Can they dig in now?
Yes,
You want some shots of
absolutely.
these?
No,
Mark
no,
got
no.
some shots.
I think Mark
Yeah,
got some.
I'm dying to see how some of this tastes.
But one always starts with the shot.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mmm.
It's delicious.
Oh my god.
That's the
Oh,
gazpacho?
it has a kick to it.
Does it?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this would be so good at a party.
Yeah, a nice summer party.
Oh my
You
God.
don't have to.
I'm getting
worry
drunk
about
on
it.
soup.
Crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's no alcohol in the gazpacho, just in case any of you were expecting Stacia to have alcohol in her chili.
This would make a great Bloody Mary.
It's delicious.
You could absolutely Bloody Mary that. In
I'm
fact,
dying to try the fig.
that's probably the only way I would Bloody
Here,
Mary.
put a
I
fig
don't
on
like
them.
regular tomato
Here
juice.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Dying to try one of these things.
Here, I'm gonna
Thank you.
salt some for you. There you go.
Thank you so
Enjoy.
It's good.
Sure.
Do you want them?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh.
Kelly says that she's so hungry and this is evil.
Well, KJ, next time you just need to come up and drink with us. And then
Oh dear
we'll
God
be
in
evil.
heaven. This is not your mother's Fig Newton.
No.
It is so good.
It's a little evil with the bacon and the maple and everything, but it's not.
Oh my goodness.
It's not greasy or heavy, but it's really rich.
Oh my God, that's delicious.
This is really good too.
How can something so meaty be so refreshing?
That's what I love about
Amazing.
if you really get away from the the typical stuff that you make at a barbecue and poke around online. There's great websites for recipes. Like I said, I just pulled that from Epicurious last night, and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. I'm going to try it. And they happen to have the brown figs in Trader Joe's. So sometimes when things are seasonal and you can't find them in the store, there's a reason for it. So don't force it. Wait till they're in season. Otherwise, they just aren't that good. You get the mealy tomatoes. You get when they're off season. So wait till things are in season, and you'll get them at their best. So I'm gonna do another quick mix-up of another batched cocktail. This is my very favorite hot weather drink from last summer. So there's another cooking website, and she doesn't do a lot of cocktails. She does mostly food, called Smitten Kitchen. She has a couple cookbooks, and I've been following her food recipes for years. I love her food aesthetic, and she does things really simply, but the flavors are delicious and easy to follow recipes online with lots of photos. Last summer, she posted a cocktail that was coconut cream or coconut milk, limeade, and you can put rum in if you want. I am not even a big coconut fan, and this thing I fell in love. So I have pre-batched this once again. This is basically just equal parts limeade and coconut cream. Don't use the low-fat stuff. Don't use the whatever. Go for the full, heavy coconut cream. Again, Trader Joe's has it, the grocery store has it. So I just did this ahead of time. This is another good batch cocktail. The way that she suggested doing this on her website is you do it as a blender drink. Now, I didn't want to pull the blender out because it's really loud when you're doing Facebook Live. So I'm going to do this as a rocks drink instead. And I'm just pouring some of this pre-made, oh my God, you're going to go crazy. I'm pouring some of this in, and then I'm going to add some more of the dark rum.
Ooh.
This is that Kahlua Hawaiian dark rum. It's not a spiced rum. Do not pull this and use it just as you'd use a Sailor Jerry's or whatever, because it's a totally different flavor profile. You're going to get some caramely, vanilla-y notes in a rum like this. It's probably $25 a bottle or something. I get it at Beverage Warehouse in McConnell in Playa del Rey. I'm just eyeballing this, and I was a little generous. I don't think anyone will mind. And I'm going to shake this up just basically to chill everything because I pre-batched it. Now imagine this as a blender drink with ice. Would be absolutely delicious. I did it that way last summer a lot, and I really loved it. So I'm just going to do a couple quick tasters for the guests, but I'm going to do one garnish here that I think really makes the drink. I got a little generous with the rum here, and you can tell because it's a little browner. So
Yay.
this is my, it's not a terrible thing. This is my nutmeg. It's my nutmeg grater, and this is the nut. And I love when you have something with rum or coconut, just grate a little bit of the fresh nutmeg over it. The flavor's incredible. The smell is incredible. I think it really makes the drink. So, Mickey, Eric, may I ply you guys with summer cocktails? Come on up.
Ply away.
Ply you with summer cocktails.
Yeah.
So this is Smitten Kitchen's coconut limeade cooler, rock style. I've got Kira.
Oh, yes.
Give that one a try. Let me know what you
Alright.
think.
Yeah, that's the Facebook camera. Look to the Facebook camera.
Okay.
Instagram
Come
posts
over
are
here.
redheaded
I was gonna say,
Snapchat right
I don't
now.
know where I'm looking.
Yeah, Mark C.
Mickey, over here a little bit.
Oh, just delicious.
I love this one.
Oh my goodness.
If Santa came in July, I would leave this for him.
I was just about to say,
that.
it's like Christmas is the summertime.
Yeah.
Mm.
It tastes
It
like,
has a tart.
That's
Finish.
the lime. Yeah, that's the lime.
Okay.
it reminds me of a chi-chi in Hawaii.
What's
I
a
don't know what's in a
chi-chi?
chi-chi.
It's a pina colada with vodka.
Oh, why would you do that?
Well, if you don't like rum.
Well, then you're crazy.
But I was drunk, so who knows?
But yeah.
Oh,
I
sorry,
love someone
drank
gave
almost
me
all of
one
it.
Oh, that's
and
okay.
a coconut with an umbrella in it.
Yeah.
I was like, the Cabana boy came up with a chi-chi, I probably wouldn't say
It
that.
seemed
Yeah.
like this was going to be thicker when you were making it.
Yeah.
I was curious. It had a. It looked
like
like it was like
cream.
eggnoggy, and that's what I expected.
Yeah, because I pre-batched it just in the interest of time, and I had to shake it up even before I put it in the shaker because there's a different viscosity between the limeade and the coconut cream, so they separate. Like a salad dressing in the fridge, they separate. So the cream is heavier. Now, I really do like this blended up with ice, like a smoothie. It's amazing that way. And there's something about, this is my BS science that's not science, there's something really hydrating about the coconut and the lime when it's hot and you're sweaty and it's muggy and uncomfortable out. For some reason, when I was drinking these last year in the summer, the blender version, I felt cooler. I would have one and I'd be like, okay, I may survive this day. So this is my faux science, is that it's good for you. The coconut is good for you in the heat. So
Works for me.
oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
the science and
It's
the
really,
treat.
I think this is my favorite one so far. Yeah.
Yeah, as we sit here and drink for you people.
Guys, it's so difficult to work.
Lovely.
Give and we give.
Wonderful. We
Beautiful.
were over there while you were fixing the station. We were drooling. We had the ricotta
Yeah, with the truffle honey.
with the truffle honey.
Come on.
Is that truffle honey insane?
Amazing.
So
I mean,
amazing.
It works
Amazing.
as both a drink and a name.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was so good.
But I mean, the cheese was really felt and tasted so homemade.
Yes.
Well, now that's the ricotta. Like I said, I thought I hated ricotta cheese, and I hated the pre-bought store stuff that you get. That's the ricotta recipe that I use. It's the Ina Garden recipe. Oh, there's a couple others out there. I use that to make my ricotta cheesecake, or to make ricotta nudi, which is like a little faux pasta-y thing. Or if you're gonna make lasagna, if you're gonna make really good lasagna and you're gonna go for it, please don't buy that stuff in the store. This is cheaper. It's faster. It's just a few ingredients. You cannot screw it up. And I'm not kidding, you cannot screw it up. You can even change the proportions of heavy cream to milk if you like, if you want it like a little lighter or a little richer. The length of time that you let it drain out the whey in the cheesecloth dictates how creamy it's going to be, whether it's going to be harder or softer. So you can kind of tweak it to whatever recipe you're using. You can also mix in. Like I could mix the herbs in with some like lemon zest or something like that. You can, make a little spread for a crostini and use that as the base and put something on top of it. So if you're looking for multitaskers in terms of food items, ricotta is just really fun. And it's also, you can put I don't like hummus. I think I'm one of the only people in life that doesn't
in
like
LA.
hummus. I love hummus. I actually think it's vile. I get
All the minorities are like, wait, you're white? And you
I know. I also don't do yoga, so I'm really confused everything. And I make my own coffee.
Stacia's about to lose her LA
I know,
card.
I just took my LA card, my LA girl card. But because I don't like hummus, it's like, what else is there that is kind of a spready, dippy thing that you could put in a table and have like crostini or crackers or whatever. And so ricotta's been my go-to substitute. Because everybody loves it and it's easy.
I love ricotta and never once thought about making it.
I only thought about making it because I was going to make something. I think I was going to make ricotta gnocchi. And
Next on
Yeah.
Soirée,
Yeah. I will do another soiree with ricotta versus Parisian gnocchi. It's like the potato versus the ricotta. Oh, it's fabulous. Anyway, I was going to make gnocchi, and one of my very Italian friends said, please tell me you're not going to go buy that crap in the store, meaning the ricotta cheese. And I'm like, well, what choice do I have? And they laughed at me and they said, well, you can make your own, And I'm like, no, you can't. It's ricotta cheese. I'm one of those idiots that's like, I didn't know you could make that. And so I started Googling, and sure enough, there was my friend Ina telling me that yes, I could. So my next thing will be making my own mascarpone, because the same thing. It's like, look, this stuff is so much easier and cheaper to make, and you have some control over how fresh it is, the consistency, how long you drain it, you know, add-ins. So I've become a big fan of like, hey, maybe I can make that. But yeah, the riccotta's been very, very good to me. So.
Well, let's head on to the next drink.
Now, okay, kids, I've got
send our kids
something.
back to their seats.
Let's do. Okay, I'm gonna make something a little spicy, but not in the spicy way of like chili peppers. I'm gonna do something with some interesting flavors. So this is a recipe that I found from foodandwine.com. They have cocktail recipes sometimes, and they just recently did a little article with summer drinks, coincidentally. And I found this one, and for those of you that are cocktail aficionados, it was Negroni week recently. Negroni is pretty much the most famous cocktail that you make with Campari. Now, Campari is a bitter Italian digestive. It's the most famous one. There are other ones. Aperol is another kind of milder cousin of this, but I love the Campari. Now, I discovered Campari 1.5 years ago. There used to be this House of Campari thing where you signed up here in LA and they would send you invitations to like art shows at galleries and openings, and they were hosted by Campari, and so they'd have bartenders making Negronis and Americanos and things like that. In fact, at one of them, I turned around at the bar and Frank Gehry, the architect, was standing next to me. I was like, oh my God, this is so LA. So I fell in love with Campari through this House of Campari thing, because I'd never really tried it before. And at these events, they would only serve the Campari cocktails. So I would try each one, a different one each time. And I'm like, you know what, I like this. Now, for some people, this is a really assertive flavor, like too strong, too bitter. But I encourage you to try it as a mix into other cocktails first, kind of like a Campari with training wheels, until you get used to the complexity of it. And I think you'll surprise yourself and you'll enjoy it. So this is a Campari fennel aperitif. And what I'm doing, we're going to be muddling for this one. So here is my muddler. No ice. I'm taking an empty shaker, and I'm going to put a couple wedges of lemon, which I have right here. And I'm going to talk to you about these little wedges in a minute because I have my new favorite bar tool. So a couple wedges of lemon, and then I'm going to take fennel. And you're going to want to take a little bit of the fennel, the green leafy part. And I'm actually going to leave myself a little piece here to garnish with. You're going to take a little bit of the fennel, and you're going to muddle that. Now, one of the things I like to do is, this drink has a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup in it. I'm going to put the simple syrup in with the lemon and the fennel. I'm just going to squirt eyeball it, about a 1/2 ounce. I like to put the simple syrup in when I muddle because I think it helps marry the flavors together. So we're going to squish this one up. Okay, so now fennel, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with it, it has kind of that anisey, licoricey taste, which I find really pleasant. Again, if you're not a fan of the licorice or the Campari, you're going to sit this one out and keep on drinking one of the other ones that I made. So I just muddled the fennel and the lemon, and I'm going to take some ice and put it in the shaker. And I'm going to add 3/4 ounce of Campari. I'm going to eyeball this one. And then I'm going to shake this up. Now this is going to get topped with Prosecco. So it's going to have a nice effervescence to it. And plus the red color is just super fun. So let me grab a glass. And find one of my many, many strainers. So here we're going to put the base of the drink, which is the Campari and fennel and lemon. And then I'm going to take a bottle of Prosecco that we've already owned. And you can kind of see the little bits of the fennel fronds. And I'm going to float that up to the top of the glass with Prosecco. And I'm going to garnish with just a little bit more of the fennel, which is very pretty. Excuse me, I'm gonna reach over you.
That is pretty.
It's a pretty drink. It's gorgeous.
That is pretty.
So who's brave and doesn't mind a sort of
She-
brave?
Bring it on.
Yeah, Mickey
Bring
just
it on.
Like literally just blocked me as she
just
ran.
tackled Eric.
Now, if you've ever seen a 4'10" woman tackle a guy, what are you, 6'3"?
4.
6'4". Okay, he's a tall one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, by the way.
So it's like a sophisticated soda.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like the way that sounds.
It's very sophisticated. This is not for somebody who's just trying out cocktails unless they really like interesting flavors. So you're gonna have friends that really just want something simple, and they you know, and then you're gonna have friends that are like, yeah, let me try something.
Fennel. I mean, what?
I know.
Right?
Let's see.
Thank you.
Can I be weird and try a little bit?
Yeah,
of this?
yeah.
I haven't tried this yet. Oh wow, I love that.
It really does beat the
Oh
heat.
my god.
I do
Okay.
feel cooler.
That does
That is
taste.
so refreshing.
That is refreshing.
You get that vegetal hit from the fennel, but it's not overly licoricey. And the Campari is really mellowed out.
Vegetal. No.
Did you catch that?
Thank you. Thank you.
Other.
Thank you.
It's like we're
this
having
isn't
a
goop,
Gilbert
okay,
and Sullivan
guys?
This is
moment.
goop, yeah. This cocktail's
I-
for your vagina.
That's a different cocktail altogether. We won't do that tonight.
Oh my goodness.
It's so
I
delicious.
love that. Yeah, and the
Is it good?
Campari is really gentled by the Prosecco, so it's not as much of a Campari hit as you get with a Negroni, which I love, by the way, still. This is definitely going in the rotation this summer.
Definitely.
I say
Fab.
this is my favorite of the night.
I do want to taste
All right,
this.
sorry.
Fresh from the hospital.
See, this
after
is
the tackle. It's my lifestyle.
and guys, I'm not recommending you pass the same glass around to 5 or 6 people, but we're all friends here.
We're all friends here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like licorice.
I've got
Yeah,
This is good.
I don't
This
like.
is-
You know, this is funny. I don't like black
I don't
licorice,
like licorice
but I
licorice
love
either.
fennel and I like absinthe. So I like some of the licorice, you know, that anisey flavor.
Yes,
but
yeah.
actual black licorice, I loathe. I
This
think it's
is-
not real.
really good. This is a perfect summer party drink
Yeah.
to me.
Especially if you're doing like grilling pizza outside, this would be great with grilled pizza outside. You know what this would be amazing with? I sometimes take the base of a cocktail and I either run it through my Cuisinart ice cream maker or I do like a granita in the freezer. So you just take a pan, like a baking pan, and you pour the liquid in it and put it in the freezer, and every 45 minutes or so, you scrape it with a fork because you're getting those big crystals. If you put a big, you know, scoop of a sorbet or the crystals of a granita in this and then poured the drink over it, it would be pretty incredible. You could even, you'd have to get rid of the liquor. You can't ice cream pure alcohol because it won't freeze. You can actually boil down and boil off the alcohol, cook off the alcohol. I make a champagne sorbet and I have to cook a portion of the Prosecco or champagne because otherwise it won't freeze. So it's like making a Jello shot. Like you have to balance the quantities of alcohol to non-alcohol. But this would be, that actually wouldn't be a bad blender drink either.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I'm a fan. All right.
Well,
We're moving on.
It's time to wrap up, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to keep drinking here.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 more drinks on. In
Eating.
fact, what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up the next 2 drinks for these guys, and we're just going to throw them up as Soirée sips on YouTube and the website. So I have a lovely lavender cocktail, and I have one with basil and watermelon. So that's my little sneak peek for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today in this wonderful heat wave for our latest Soirée Facebook Happy Hour Live Sips Everything. Sorry for a little bit of the tech stuff going on today. The heat sometimes fries my brain before I can hydrate it properly with a lovely cocktail. But we will see you guys again next month. And in the meantime, check out the website, check out Phantom Sway, check out Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for both Phantom Sway and Soirée by Stacia. And we will keep you drinking. Cheers.